would very often ask parents, why are you putting your kid in a school? What if there were no schools? What would you do?
That is HK. Taught me literature in school. Major reason kept us in touch is also chai. I mean, she's got me some chai out here. Built a school in Bangalore.
Let's build the classrooms on the trees.
Where do these ideas come from? Like the school has slides.
Education has, not just in India, world over. Don't think like this, do like this, do. So many do's and don'ts. Kids don't need workshops. Parents need workshops. Children are fine. Imagination is about going beyond the railway track of everyday life.
You've chosen to be single all your life. Aapke zamane mein, I don't know how many people did.
At that time, people married for social security mostly. Women married for financial security. You had to pay a price for it, a social, sexual. I think one of the reasons why marriage was not my cup of tea. I wanted to live an authentic life.
Are you scared?
No.
Hey you, welcome to RAWR, a talk show where we talk about love, relationships and all wild emotions in between. Today we have a very special guest out here and that is HK. I don't know how to introduce her honestly, but on a personal note, she has taught me literature in school and I've known her since last 15 years. Wow, I've known you since a really long time. And I don't know how we've managed to keep in touch, but there is something that always, wants me to get in touch with you. Like I think you've stood out from all the teachers that I've known in my entire education that I've done, whatever I've studied. I think you really stand out.
Well, thank you. And Sneha, this is such a proud moment for me. I can't tell you my heart is glowing, okay, more than the lights around. And I think it's a very special moment because it sort of brings out the reason why we've kept in touch, because there's a bond.
Yeah.
Then that bond is always the reason why people keep in touch.
Yes, I think one of the major reason that has kept us in touch is also chai. I mean, she's got me some chai out here for this session, and I think the one thing that you really need to know about her is the chai and Mehfils that she conducts. Like she makes some amazing chai. The concoctions are secret, like there are some secret ingredients that go into this concoction and literally nobody knows about it. I don't know, what do you make? And I think the best conversations come out when you have a cup of chai with a chai lover, somebody who loves chai. And I think we've had so many conversations over chai.
We should say cheers.
Cheers to this. No, and I mean, every conversation that we've had over chai becomes a mehfil.
Yes.
And I remember this concept of Mehfil was so new to me when you told me about it. And I think we definitely need more Mehfils. So can you tell me, how did this idea of doing a Mehfil, what happens in a Mehfil exactly?
That's it. So Mehfil is something that has come from my heart space. But let me just explain to your viewers because they wouldn't know what a Mehfil is. And
yes.
So a Mehfil is a gathering of people. And there are very few hallmarks except beauty, connection and an open heart. So the format is varied.
Yeah.
So you can have, half-day Mehfils which are purely fun. You can have 3-day Mehfils where you go deep into your very depths. Okay. And you can have something in between.
Yeah.
So we modify as per the people and who is there. But how it started, I'll share with you. So when I was teaching in your school, if you remember, I taught you literature, but then I also taught theory of knowledge. Which was such a new subject. And there was such a large cohort of students that I couldn't be in 6 places at the same time. So I had to train the teachers to teach. Because that's the only way 6 classes could go on simultaneously because I couldn't be in 6 places. So nobody was ready to touch TOK. No teacher wanted to teach. What is this theory of knowledge, critical thinking? We can take double the subjects, but please don't give
you
up.
have to tell us also what is theory of knowledge even before getting there. Because I remember you teaching us only one class where you gave us an introduction to TOK. And I think IB students would know like what is TOK. And most of the people are not aware that there's a subject called theory of knowledge. And we fell in love with it. I think till date, that is one subject that I've been wanting to learn, and that is only from you, to be very honest, because the way you introduce the subject to us, we cannot forget it. Trust me, like all the classmates, like whoever we talk about it, and we're like, you know what, I wish we could have done the complete course with you.
But you can still do it. School is
Yes, I'm looking forward
school
to
is always beyond walls. We can still do it. So
Yes.
the offer is open.
Yeah.
So, but what is this? What is theory of knowledge? So this subject was a part of the International Baccalaureate.
Yeah.
The diploma program. So they had this subject, they still have it.
Yeah.
So it was at that time new. Remember, IB was still very new at that time.
Yes.
Very few schools were. So, and I have myself done a dissertation in theory of knowledge when I was doing my masters in education. So, but I never at that point for the life of me thought I would be actually teaching it. I did it for the sheer love.
Okay.
Okay. So, but in the way we did it in school, it was an epistemology. It was just critical thinking applied. So, in short, you ask questions. You ask questions about the world around you. You ask questions about yourself, to yourself. You ask questions about your family, the world outside, the education, the things you watch on television, your social media.
Question everything.
So, it's about applying the mind. It's about metacognition. Something is taught to you, you take things at face value.
Face value, yeah.
Well, you haven't got it. So unless you can question the question, unless you can understand what is behind the theory, we cannot just mug up what's given to us.
Yeah.
We can't swallow. We are alive, we have minds, and how can we let them sleep? But the point is, you begin to question the world around you.
Yeah.
Things, why are you called what you're called?
Yeah.
I have known that I've taken classes and people have just sat like this. And just on a lighter note, one class I used to take in theory of knowledge was the I love you class. And everybody who wasn't even taking the course was so excited. Can we attend Harvinder ma'am's I love you class? I love you. Hey, she's going to take that next week. Let's do. So I remember after they attended the I love you class, I remember all the boys. Now on Valentine's Day, we have to ask if they've taken your course. It's hopeless. We can't give them a rose now. It's not going to work. I remember one student still said, I wish I had never attended this I love you class. Now I have to think 5 times before saying I love you to somebody.
I've taken this class, a little bit of like a snippet of it. We did it in Pondicherry.
Ah, yes.
We did
little
it little bit at night. We sat with you, we caught hold of you, and we were like, we want that I love you class. And I think Virag was very excited, my brother, because I think he was 22, 23, and he was like, you know what, please tell me about this I love you class. And I'm telling you, the definitions of love changed. Like whatever was taught in that class, the whole definition of love changed on such a large level. Like it was always like when we thought like we are seeing love through our eyes, and then we started seeing love from the other person's
eyes. But that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what is love if you're only looking at it from your eyes?
Yeah.
If it's a connection and you cannot see what the other person is seeing,
Yeah.
how is it a connection?
How is it a connection? Yeah. Yes. Okay, and anyways, getting back to the Mehfils, you were telling us
Yes.
the theory of knowledge. Yeah.
So
there.
coming back to the story, how it all started.
Yeah.
Still remember it was raining and I wrote that first letter to everybody and I said, okay, who all will like. So a lot of my ex-students, people who I taught, I don't know, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, all of them. Somehow I have been very fortunate, touchwood, to have very good students like you, Sneha, who've kept in touch. And friends, a lot of friends also, of course, joined. So we had a first Mehfil, I remember, at my house in Bombay at that time, where we got people together and we immersed ourselves into a kind of an experience. Now it wasn't a workshop.
Yeah.
I wasn't the workshop leader per se, though I was facilitating. We were all learning from each other. Everybody was contributing. So the Mehfil became a space where everybody contributes to the richness. And we enrich each other through that interactive experience. And the alchemy that unfolds during these times amazes me. Even though I am facilitating it, I am only facilitating it.
Yeah.
The magic is what the people bring. It's the energies together.
Yeah.
So and then of course, because I have poetry in my life in a big way and art also.
Yeah.
So we often decorate the place with flowers, and then sham ko shamma jalti hai. So we have candlelight. So the beauty element comes in, art comes in, interaction comes in. So it's not heavily structured, but it's not like a party. It's not like free. So there is a loose structure. There is a purpose, which is not a rigid workshop purpose that these are the things you will get at the end of this. It's not like that. It's people coming together with the objective of connecting and going a little deeper, a little higher.
Yeah, I've attended one of the Mehfils, and it was nothing like what you told us. I think it just took its own shape, whatever you told us, and when it happened, we were like, okay, wow, this was not what we were expecting. What just happened? And the kind of connections you make also at a Mehfil are so deep, and I think it's very different from the workshops that are already out there, and it has the right balance of a lot of things. I think because you've had so much experience in the field of education, you bring the right masala and mix. You take the best of all the worlds. And
it's like chai.
It's like chai. Oh yeah, nobody knows what's the... Yeah, it's exactly like the chai, because you've taken the best of everything and sort of like channeled it through a Mehfil. And I think the Mehfil chooses the people also.
Yes, well said. Beautifully said and beautifully understood.
Because I remember the Mehfil that when we also did the Mehfil, some people wanted to come, they couldn't make it, and then suddenly some person turned up from Bombay, and then the kind of people who had to meet, who had to unfold those experiences. Yes. It's like the Mehfil chose those people, and it was a beautiful evening.
I think intensity is something we need to understand, because forgive me for saying this, but very often we live diluted lives.
Yes.
We are living, and then when something intense happens, it shocks us to an awareness.
Yes.
It gets all our senses, our entire being together.
Yeah.
So what Mehfil is an intense experience.
It's an intense, yeah.
And that is why, even though it may be for a short period of time, when you compare it, let's say if you are doing a 1-year course or something like that, you are doing 3 days of a Mehfil, it goes deep. You don't forget it.
Yeah.
And it changes you.
Yeah.
You take something.
Yeah, for sure. That's life changing.
Yeah.
For sure. I also wanted to ask you that you have been in this the field of education. You've built a school in Bangalore, and where do these ideas come from? Like, the school has slides, it has some different kind of, the whole system is very different in the school. So can you tell us what was the idea when you built something like this?
So I was called by Sri Aurobindo Society to build the school.
Okay.
So I saw the land, and my first reaction was, let's build the classrooms on the trees. And everybody stared at me in the meeting, like, where have I come from? So I said, we'll have treehouse classrooms. Then they said, no, this is not feasible, you can't have treehouse classroom, blah, 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 the trees are not strong. So I remember I sat down with the architects and I designed everything with the architects, and I said, okay, so you had the first floor wall-less, where branches are coming in, so children go up on stairs and come down on slides, and then I remember there was an artist whom I had invited, and she painted dolphins, and when she painted dolphins, I was looking at the land and I was saying, hello, this piece of land looks like a dolphin, and because of that I built a dolphin pool inspired by the art, and because I saw the land as a dolphin. So it was a vision. I saw the trees and I said, yes, the children, because the land speaks to you. Okay, there's an energy talking.
Yeah.
So what you are doing is you are giving voice to that energy. You're helping that form to manifest.
Yeah.
So you are you're the medium.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I feel why I built a school like that, because I could. But my reason was that I think education has to go beyond walls. Okay, now we are in times where education is actually going beyond walls. Okay, we'll talk about that.
With AI.
With AI.
With AI.
Yeah, but education has been rigid, not just in India, world over.
Okay.
Very structured minds. Where I would very often ask parents, why are you putting your kid in a school? What if there were no schools? What would you do?
I don't think people think this way also.
But they need to.
Yeah, but that's what I like about you, that you think very differently. Like having a tree house classroom, I don't think normal people would think that way.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not normal. Yeah, but I don't know why they don't think.
Yeah.
Because I think this is what the aim of education needs to be, to liberate the mind.
To expand the mind.
Yes,
on a lot of
to
levels.
liberate it.
Yeah.
I would say not just expand it, but to liberate it. You know, we are a crazy kind of society. We build boxes. And say this box, this box, this box, you grow in this box. And then we say, now I will do a workshop where we learn to think out of the box. It's crazy. Why do you want to build boxes to begin with? You don't need out of boxes classrooms. So I would say education has to be liberated from boxes.
Boxes, yeah.
Okay, we don't need them. Really, we don't need them. Sure, we need some structure. Sure, we need some boundaries.
Yeah.
But that must come from the awakened individual mind and heart. So what we need to do is awaken the mind and the heart. That is what gives us freedom, and that is what gives us boundaries.
Yes.
Otherwise, our boundaries are false and our freedom is false.
Yes, for sure. That brings me to a very interesting question. So basically, I'll tell you, I have not seen teachers like you, for that matter. Why? Because I don't think somebody thinks that way and somebody is so passionate about also knowledge in that way. When you are teaching somebody, or when you've taught us that one class which we remember for the entire life, like I think you were not even our teacher for that matter, and you just came in for like one class and we still remember it, the passion that you actually taught us, that Macbeth, that one piece that was from Macbeth, and we all remember it, like we still have that memory, and that's because the passion that you put into when you're delivering something. I want to ask you that, from where does it come? Like what gives you that, like kahan se aata hai ye sab?
See, that's a very good question. It's a pretty deep question also. Passion, energy, hai. That is our natural state. We block it. I don't.
Okay.
Okay. So, if people were natural, there would be passion.
Okay.
Okay. So, I think all of us would have, we may express it differently.
Okay.
I can be silent and passionate. Okay. Your passion doesn't have to make noise all the time.
Okay.
Okay. So let's.
I love it.
Let's understand that people express differently. We all have our languages. Okay. So you can have potent silences, and you can have unenergetic expression.
Yes.
Meaningless. So
Yes.
that can happen. But so passion is a natural state. I would say. So if you stay in that state, if children grow well, or if we are not bogged down, we don't let society
tell us
then
rules.
hold us down. So if we are not going to fit or be, I would say, made pygmy, our minds are made pygmy by iron boxes. So if we don't live in those iron boxes, we have passion.
Yeah.
It's our natural state. We are born with energy. It's human. It's natural. Tell me a human being who doesn't have it. The reason people are afraid to express, sometimes we are not aware of our passion because we are only aware of our limitations.
Yeah, people have just told us things.
Behave like this, don't think like this, do like this, do so many do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
That's why I want education to be a liberating experience. Not an experience that it's not factory. Unfortunately, the industrial revolution mindset is there in school. So you will have people saying, the child from our product will be like this.
Like this, yeah.
Claims. How can a human being be a product? And how can you predict? Do I know where you are going? If I see a small child, that child comes with a soul.
Yeah.
That child comes with an energy,
and
you are saying, I will ensure this is gonna go, he's gonna go into med school or this or that. How are you going to ensure? And if you are going to do it, you're making the person into a product.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Did you do this at your school?
Yes, I did my level best, and I would take so many workshops with the parents.
With the kids and the parents.
Kids don't need workshops. Parents need workshops. Teachers need workshops. Children are fine. I'll tell you how crazy parents can be. I'm sorry, I have to tell you
Please
this incident.
me.
I was once taking this workshop on relaxation. Parents are always, charged and worried and worried and worried. So I did a workshop on how to relax for parents. And I remember one guy later told me, he came for admission for his second time. He said, I've attended one of your workshops. You taught us how to drink tea. I go, what? Because at the end of the relaxation workshop, we had tea. So he was so relaxed and so into it that he still remember the taste of the tea coming back to the chai. But to come back to the workshop, so how to relax. So I led them in, and at the end I had a question answer session. So one of the parents asked me, I am very worried about my child because the child is not worried. I am very worried about my child because my child doesn't get worried. He's dancing, he's singing in the bathroom. I tell him, hurry up, and he'll say, chill, mom. And I say, why are you worried? No, he's not bothered about studying. He's not bothered about exams. He's not about future. And I go, how? Which class is your child in? You know what she said? LKG. They want a 4 or 5-year-old child to be worried
about their future.
About the future. The children are not going to be worried. So the workshops are needed for the parents. For the teachers who get worried. I remember I was walking down and one child comes to me and says, Harvinder Didi, are you going to give me a TC? That's a transfer certificate. And I was totally befuddled. I go, why will I? Are you shifting? Are you going somewhere else? No. My mama says, if you don't, you're not going to give me TC, no? I go, not unless. I was worried, what do I say? So I said, not unless you really need it and you're going to another city. No, my mom says, if I don't sit down and study, Harvinder Didi will give you a TC. So now this child came and checked with me because in my school anybody could come anytime
and talk to you
and talk to me.
Wow.
And they would if the teacher didn't come, they would say, Harvinder Didi, come. You have to tell us a story. Yeah. Harvinder Didi, the maths teacher is not there. Sometimes they would make me come and tell a story and children will run to the maths teacher and say, Harvinder Didi is taking a class, you don't come.
Okay.
So children are smart. Children have their own minds. They know what they want. It's the adult mind that is conditioned. It's the adult mind that needs liberation. The young mind simply needs a flow.
Wow. And so you've written these 2 books, okay? So Fire to Ash and Songs of the Deep. These 2 books, and you also have a course on creativity.
Yes.
And so when you're making like a creative course, is it for people to come out of these conditioned states? What is the idea when you're making a creative course?
Okay.
Also, I want to read one of the poems, but yeah, I'll get back to this. You first tell us about the course.
So, like I just mentioned a little while ago, I think education needs to move out of walls.
Yeah.
So I think AI, for all its pitfalls and its dangers, has liberated education.
Yeah.
So the fact that so much of education is out there, of course you have to sift.
Yeah.
Because there's so much
content.
So
much, right?
There's such a deluge, so you will have to find the right.
Now that you see there's online courses for everything. Everything is like there is so much data.
So there's so much. That's because we are undergoing a change. Society is undergoing a transition. Now I remember when the first wave happened, I thought I will never do anything digital. I will never. But I have since then accepted that the world is undergoing a change.
Yeah.
And I can't be rigid about it. I can't be nostalgic that I will only have, treehouse classrooms and slides. And that's not going to happen all the time.
Yeah.
It can happen in a small, what about the rest of the world? So you need to liberate education so that people can learn what they want to learn.
Yeah.
Because it's when you learn what is calling out from deep within is where your expansion happens.
Yeah.
That's where your mind and heart get liberated.
Okay.
Now, the thing is that you're talking to me about the course. So I've almost on the last legs of putting up. It's online, but it also has live classes. It's on imaginative writing. Now, I have not seen very many courses where writing and sometimes a little bit of art are combined. The imagination liberates us because imagination is about going beyond the railway track of everyday life.
Yeah.
It's about expanding, it's about flying.
Yeah.
So you give wings.
So this course actually helps you get those wings and think differently.
It helps you to flap your wings.
Flap your wings.
Yeah, it helps you to flap your wing to go beyond what you are thinking. It liberates the mind entirely, and of course in the process you learn to write more intently, more intensely, more colorfully, more vividly. Wow. And then you can, once you've learned the mind techniques, you can apply them to way beyond writing.
Way beyond writing. One thing that I absolutely find fascinating about you is that you're always doing these bizarre things. Like you just spoke about this creativity workshop that you've launched. You have these 2 books. You are doing paragliding. You are sometimes setting up a school. You are learning flute. You're learning meditation. You're all over the place. And you're always doing something new. Whenever I have a call with you, I'm like, where are you? You're doing something totally bizarre. And it's very interesting. I think that's what I like about you. Like, I find you very, very, you're always learning. That's what I love about you, to be very honest. And one more thing that I like about you is that you've broken so many rules. Like you just said, that you think very differently. And you've chosen to be single all your life. You've decided and you're single. And that's also like breaking a stereotype. And aapke zamane mein, I'm sure it was something, I don't know how many people did. So how did you think, like, मतलब क्या था? Did you always want to be single? Yeah, like वो बचपन से you never thought कि शादी, like जैसे हम लोग सोचते हैं कि यार बड़े हो गए तो शादी करेंगे, हमको भी family चाहिए, बच्चे चाहिए, like all girls dream of something like this. So what was your journey?
Okay, so I am not averse to marriage. So to start out, I have nothing, but I saw, even as a teenager, I think I had a mind that always questioned. Even as a child, I had a questioning mind. I would question things. I would keep asking why. And sometimes I would ask my mom why, and they would like say,
so you always question, like, वो हमेशा से था, like.
मतलब कुछ चीज़ें तो I would question. Like people would say this was not, I remember my mom, I still remember, my mom and I were sitting at the stairs. And then what happened, somebody was passing through, my mom was gossiping, this girl, she's married a Muslim, she's Hindu. And I go, so what? But she looked at me, she didn't say anything, she said, like, this is not done. I go, so what? Yeah. In those times nobody asked so what.
Yeah.
Then I remember my mom was, I still remember she was cleaning. And I suddenly said, I think religion should be banned. उनके हाथ में जो था उन्होंने गिरा दिया. It fell from her hand. And then she says, hey Vaheguru, hey Vaheguru.
पहले से वैसे थे आप.
So I had just stepped into my teens and I said religion, and my mom was saying, God forgive her for saying. I go, and then but she was good. She says, why? I said, everybody is fighting. Everybody, there are riots. What do people, if there was no religion, it would be better. No religion. She said, but think of some of the good things that people have done because of religion. I go, yeah, okay, but still. So, yeah, I had that kind of a mind where I would question.
Okay.
But then I think I'm not singular in that, or I wasn't singular. I think a lot of people have questions, they don't always ask them, and then they don't stick to them.
They don't stick.
They drop it. Yes, this type. They मार देते हैं, गला घोंट देते हैं.
हाँ.
So I didn't strangle my questions.
Okay.
I let them grow.
Okay.
So yeah, it was difficult, and then my mom used to always think, I don't know what to do with her. But then, well, I came to them.
But
so
wasn't it difficult, because like you were from a normal family, like Papa, Mummy were not somebody who would question like you would question. So they had, like, they were a part of the society. You must be having friends, you must be having so many people.
So I was a quiet person.
Okay.
I was not somebody who spoke a lot.
Okay.
So relatively introvert, not entire. I was a good speaker, I would go into debates and things like that, but I wasn't one who would, wear my rebellion on my sleeve kind of thing. So it was a quiet voice, like a flame burning inside. So I saw, and that flame never went out. So I wasn't a rebel without a cause. I wasn't rebellious for the heck of it. I looked at the world and I had authentic questions. And I let those authentic questions simmer because I realized the people around me couldn't answer them, or they were too afraid. Whether it was my family or whether it was my teachers, they followed a pattern that was very clear to me. And if I wanted to go beyond the pattern, it couldn't happen through them. So I knew I would have to carve my path beyond the pattern that was around me.
Weren't you scared?
No. So that's a good question. Why wasn't I scared, if that's what you're thinking of? Because when you're clear about something, you can't be scared. Fear comes out of, an unclear mind. A clear mind is a courageous mind because you see the truth. You see what is around you. I don't have to fear this cup. Am I afraid of it? No, because I see it as a cup. It's made of porcelain. Now somebody tells me it's a black hole. No, it's not. It's a cup. Okay. So when you can see clearly, there will be no fear. Okay. So I think clarity has been a gift.
Okay.
And it was something I didn't close my windows to. So I let what was natural live.
Okay.
So I guarded it, you could say, quietly. In those times where people wouldn't speak up, wouldn't think, I was quiet. But my mind wasn't.
Wow. And of course, I mean, because I think the part you answered itself, like a lot of clarity gave you a lot of courage. So I think, bhale kuch bhi chal raha ho, even if people were telling you things or you were hearing people, they would be, of course.
I think also I have to credit my family. They inadvertently encouraged, because having been brought up in the Sikh milieu, as a Sikh culture, courage is something you grow up with naturally.
Wow. Okay.
So truth and courage are the values we grew up with. I don't remember ever telling a lie. Okay. Till like I discovered at 16 the whole world lies. And I am the only idiot. But by that time it was ingrained. Okay. So because there was no lying in me really, except once or twice when I was testing my mother, I thought she was tricking me. That's different. I was testing her. So that was different. But there was no lie in me. So there was courage. I wasn't afraid. What? So there was no fear.
There was no fear.
Because there was no lying. It was a pure heart. So the pure heart is a courageous heart.
Yeah.
So no fear in that sense. I would say I had to thank my parents who inadvertently sort of encouraged it. And then of course they must have held their heads, because here you have a different kind of a kid. But live with it.
And then when you, after, of course, like say your decision never changed.
So that's what I want to talk about.
Like in the journey.
So the decision. It was not a decision. I have nothing against marriage. I won't say I ever decided not to get married. That was not the case.
Okay.
It wasn't like I have taken a breach pratigya and I will put my hand in the fire and I say I will never get married. Aisa kuch nahi tha. Okay. Like a lot of young people had romantic dreams. Yeah, I also thought, but I also saw reality for what it was. And I saw marriage was a raw deal for women.
Okay.
Okay, it was a raw deal.
Yeah.
Most at that time, people married for social security mostly. Women married for financial security. Okay, you had to pay a price for it, a social, sexual price for it.
Yeah.
Yes, but it was mostly women had to give more. So I wasn't afraid. I didn't want to get married for financial reasons because I wanted to stand on my own 2 feet. Okay, and I was confident I would do it. I was disciplined. I didn't have too many desires. I could live austerely if it was required. So therefore, because of being a disciplined person, I wasn't like I needed a luxurious life, so I have to get married because how can I earn so much? I was ready to live simply but live independently. So independence and freedom was more important to me than luxury.
Wow.
Okay. So that was one. And then, and I didn't have fear, like I said. So I thought I'll manage. I wasn't stupid or foolhardy or anything like that. I was sensible. I lived life in a balanced way. Okay. But independence mattered. I wanted to live. I think one of the reasons why marriage was not my cup of tea. I wanted to live an authentic life. And I thought from whatever options were available to me that by choosing these paths, my life would no longer be authentic. I would be living a lie. That was not something I was ready to do.
Got it.
So it was my commitment to authenticity, to truth. Okay, that is why I was walking. I have been sort of walking alone, more or less. If you consider marriage, I would say people walk alone even in marriages. So I really don't know why they make such a hue and cry about marriage. And I also think unless you, well, I'm sorry, this is again going to sound rebellious, and I know you've been a student, but allow me to say this. But I really thought at that time, and even now, that unless you want to have children, why do I need to get married?
Yeah.
Okay, now
that's a very evolved
my
thought.
Mother would still slap me for saying
this. Mummy.
And then she would say, you're saying this to a student, but yeah, I am. So, I mean, answer the question.
Yeah.
Okay, just because it's a convention, marriage is a convention. I am questioning the convention.
Yeah.
Okay, through my life, not just intellectually, not like an itch. It's not a mental itch. So, courage, truth are real energies, life-shaping energies. They direct your life if you let them. Okay. So, I have no quarrel, no problems. If you find marriage beautiful, go ahead. It's great, sure. For some people, it's great. Not for me. So, I have nothing against it. I did consider it. There was many offers and all that. I mean, I came quite close to it once or twice. But then I said, nahi bhai, ye nahi hoga.
Ye nahi ho paega.
Ye nahi ho paega. There was no point.
And do you think like majorly how you've evolved is also, would you give that because you were single, you had the time to give, the time that you have, you decided to give it for yourself, and you didn't have a family. So majorly because you had that time, do you think that you evolved in a better way?
Personally, I would say yes.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me that does being single necessarily mean evolution? No. May not be for some people, maybe for some people. Just as marriage is not for someone, staying alone is not okay for everybody.
Yeah.
So you can, so for some people staying single could stunt your growth because you need a structure, you need to have kids, you need a family, you need to express yourself socially or in many other ways. So you need a role.
Yeah.
I was never one for roles. Okay. I mean, even when I've been a teacher, I was never been a teacher.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
You went beyond the
you
role
know.
of,
So the role is okay, it serves a purpose beyond a point, but we are spiritual energies on earth.
Yeah.
So we cannot get confined by the iron roles that are pitted upon or thrust upon us.
Yes.
So we have to and if you see, if the light shines in you and you let it, then you inevitably see beyond roles, which is not to, I'm not saying you're Inqilab Zindabad, I'm not saying I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying that, look, the authentic life will question roles.
Yes.
Will question things.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Because that's how society evolves. Roles have never remained the same. Ever.
Yeah.
Marriage has never remained. Even in the same time space, in different zones of the world, it's different.
It's different, yeah.
So, how have we evolved? Somebody's got to ask questions. Somebody's got to question roles. Somebody's got to see, ये रेल का पटरी है यार, वो आसमान है.
Yeah.
So we are there for the sky and beyond. So let's understand that we are born with wings. Okay. So I mean, why should we crawl?
Yeah.
Why should we crawl?
Just because you're told that you should. You're meant to crawl.
I mean, people remain worms. They're caterpillars, but they remain worms. So where are the butterfly wings?
Yeah. I think people are even scared to open those wings, you know. Most of the people, because there is the societal pressure and the things that come. You have to pay a price for everything that you
Yes, well said.
Yeah, you have to pay a price for whatever you decide to do.
Yes.
And to spread those
there's
wings.
There's a price.
There's always a price for
I've paid
everything.
my price and I have no regrets.
No regrets. On that note, we will just read one poem from this beautiful book that's on love. It's called Fire to Ash, and this is one of my favorite ones. Let's read that. Yeah. Exchange. Okay. His coffee became tea. Her tea changed to coffee. No one ever said, I love you. Wow. This is such a beautiful one. I mean, 4 lines and it says so much. And you have not married anybody. Like, you've decided to stay single and you've written an entire book on love.
That's why.
Why? I want to know, what's your definition of love?
Okay. Oh God. Cornered me here.
Yes.
Okay. So first, so this is a book of love poems. It's just that in this book the love poems are combined, but I have written much beyond and on other topics. But yes, I would say all poetry is about love. But what is my definition of love? Firstly, I think love defies all definitions. And if you want, it's not a definition. You don't want to define it. I think you should live life openly, and you will experience the energy of love beyond relationships.
Okay.
Again, I know in this book it's a lot about relationship, but then there's, because only those poems are compiled here. But love is a state of being.
Okay.
It encompasses relationships, yes, and various kinds of relationships. Romantic is just one small little subset.
Yeah.
Okay. My relationship with a plant is love.
Yeah.
Okay. My relationship with chai is love. My relationship with, with poetry
is love.
Yeah.
With
nature is love. All relationships are about love. I mean, I would say the student-teacher relationship is love and beyond.
Of course.
So, I would say don't look for, isms. Don't again look for confine, because love is not about this or that. And the thing is, you might think that it doesn't exist, but it's a effulgence. It's an opening. It's like this light that's washing you from outside, only it comes from inside.
Okay. Wow.
So it's inside and outside both.
Both. And you don't need to restrict it to relationships.
No.
Or to anything.
Relationship, everything is a relationship. Yeah, but people have such narrow definition of love. भाई romantic love है ये.
यही love.
ठीक है, romantic love तो है. Sure. Enjoy it when it comes. Okay. But life is beyond. Love is, it is the force that sustains life.
Yes.
It's the mother's love for the child. And throughout creation, for not just human beings, we are just one species on the planet.
Yes.
It's a universal force. And if we open our hearts and we are not limited by the iron box of the mind, we open to that great force of love.
So, that was quite a mehfil out here again. I think every time when I talk to you, I think it's just beautiful. I think I always learn so much.
I think it's mutual.
It's mutual?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
It's such an opening.
And thank you for coming out here.
It's such, I have to say this on camera, I feel so proud. And I have to say that for anybody watching this, Sneha is one of the finest hearts I know.
Okay, please, that's too much.
Okay, no, it's not. It's not too much. Somebody has to say it, and somebody who's known you since you were a teenager should say it.
Yes.
So, one of the finest hearts I know.
Thank you so much.
And I'm so happy, so proud, so delighted that you are living life so creatively, and I hope this grows more and more. And
Thank you so much. I think I'm so blessed to have gurus like you who've actually helped me in life through a lot of throughout the journey. I think whatever you've taught me has helped me in so many ways that I can't define. And a major part of my like when I evolve, I look back at those workshops that I've done with you, and it's been like a major, I think a major thing in my life for sure. When I've done, like, it has helped me evolve so much.
I'm so happy. It's so heartening. It gives you such a warm feeling. It makes you feel okay, you're doing something worthwhile.
Thank you so much. And so yes, this was a very special episode because you guys got to meet my teacher, and I think this is going to be my favorite episode. Until then, keep roaring, embracing and rising in love. Stay tuned and don't forget, I roar you.